You call someone by the wrong name. Not a stranger, someone you should know. The room gets quiet, and heat climbs your face before you can explain. Or you trip on a flat sidewalk. Nothing dramatic, just enough for 3 people to look up. Your body reacts like you have committed a public crime. Embarrassment is strange because it feels private, almost secret. But it is built to be seen. The blush, the lowered eyes, the crooked smile. Charles Darwin was already fascinated by blushing in 1872, partly because it seemed uniquely social. We redden most when we imagine ourselves being observed. That matters. Embarrassment does not simply announce discomfort. It announces that you know a social line was crossed, even if the crossing was tiny. In their 1997 review, Dacher Keltner and Brenda Buswell argued embarrassment has appeasement functions after minor social violations. It can help smooth the rupture. So here is the paradox. The reaction you most want to hide may be the very thing that tells people you are safe to forgive. To see why, we need to separate embarrassment from its nearby cousins, shame and guilt. They overlap, but they do not point in the same direction. A 2025 systematic review describes shame, guilt, embarrassment, and pride as self-conscious emotions tied to social functioning, moral behavior, and identity formation. Self-conscious emotions need a mental audience. Sometimes that audience is real. Sometimes it is just the imagined committee in your head, leaning forward. That same 2025 review notes these emotions are underexplored compared with basic emotions, partly because they are harder to induce and measure in experiments. You can startle someone with a sound. You can sadden them with a story. But embarrassment needs a stage, a self, and the possibility of evaluation. Keltner and Buswell argued embarrassment is distinct from shame, guilt, and amusement. It has its own triggers, expressions, and social consequences. Small laugh. Embarrassment says, I just made this weird. Shame says, I am weird. Guilt says, I did something that needs repair. Their review describes a recognizable embarrassment display: gaze aversion, head movement, inhibited smiling, face touching, and often blushing. It is not just random awkwardness. That display works almost like a wordless apology, not a perfect apology. Not enough for serious harm, but enough for a small social stumble. A 2015 +1 daily life study found facial blushing was associated with feeling embarrassed, ashamed, and exposed during ordinary social encounters. Exposed is the exact word. Embarrassment feels like someone pulled back a curtain you did not know you were standing behind. The same study also noted that blushing, though usually undesirable, may have an ameliorative function for some people in some circumstances. Ameliorative is a careful word. It does not mean blushing feels good. It means the visible discomfort may soften how others interpret the mistake. Keltner and Buswell's appeasement account suggests embarrassment signals respect for the social order. The embarrassed person appears non-threatening, aware, and motivated to restore connection. In other words, your face may be saying, I know, I saw it too. I am not pretending nothing happened. One approach is to make the signal explicit. I'm sorry, I mixed up your name. That was awkward. Specific repair usually beats frantic self-punishment. But of course, in the moment, you do not think, excellent, my appeasement display is functioning. You think, please, face, stop glowing. That urge to disappear is part of the emotion. Embarrassment pulls your gaze down. It shrinks the body. It makes you less socially loud. Keltner and Buswell connect embarrassment displays with submissive and affiliative signals seen across social species, while emphasizing human embarrassment is culturally shaped and self-conscious. The body lowers the volume, not because you are weak, but because repair sometimes begins with showing you are not challenging the group. The 2025 review identifies posture, blushing, and gaze aversion as important nonverbal cues, but also methodologically challenging markers of self-conscious emotion. That challenge is important. Researchers cannot simply ask someone to blush on command. The most revealing moments are the ones people would rather not provide. The PLOS One study looked at blushing in everyday social encounters rather than only staged laboratory moments, which helps capture embarrassment closer to ordinary life. Ordinary life is where embarrassment lives. Not in grand moral failure, but in spilling soup, forgetting introductions, waving back at someone who is waving behind you. Keltner and Buswell describe embarrassment as especially tied to social predicaments, awkward exposure, and minor violations rather than deep moral injury. That is why embarrassment can vanish so quickly when someone laughs kindly. The social verdict changes and the body gets permission to stand down. The PLOS One authors found blushing was linked with feeling negatively evaluated, but they did not reduce it to pathology. Context shaped what blushing meant. This is where the story gets delicate. For some people, visible embarrassment repairs the moment. For others, the blush becomes the feared event itself. If embarrassment or blushing regularly keeps you from work, relationships, or ordinary errands, consider talking with a qualified professional. Distress deserves more than a clever reframe. The repair function does not cancel the pain. It explains why the pain is visible and why visibility is not always social death. The 2025 review emphasizes that self-conscious emotions are central to moral behavior. They help people track how their actions land in social worlds. That tracking system is ancient in spirit and modern in detail. We live by rules we rarely name until someone breaks one softly. Keltner and Buswell argue embarrassment tells observers the person recognizes the violation. That recognition can reduce suspicion and invite reintegration. Reintegration is a beautiful word for a small mercy. It means the group does not freeze you forever at your clumsiest second. If this kind of careful psychology interests you, a quiet like or subscription genuinely helps the show reach people who enjoy sitting with nuance. Now, it would be too neat to say embarrassment is always honest. People can perform awkwardness. They can weaponize innocence. Social signals are never foolproof. Still, Keltner and Buswell's review treats embarrassment as a distinct emotional display, not merely failed composure or accidental facial noise. The awkward smile is especially interesting. It is not pure happiness. It is a social patch, a small bridge laid over a sudden gap. The review describes inhibited smiling as part of embarrassment's expression, often appearing alongside gaze shifts and face touching. You can hear that smile in a voice too, the slight lift, the self-interruption, the little laugh that says, "I know this is not ideal." The 2025 review points out that nonverbal markers are hard to study because emotions unfold through bodies, contexts, and interpretations at once. A blush is not a sentence with one translation. On one face, in one room, it reads as sweetness. Elsewhere, it reads as panic. The PLOS One study found blushing related not only to embarrassment but also to shame and feeling exposed, showing how closely these experiences can cluster. This clustering is why your inner narration matters. If you call every awkward moment shame, the whole self gets dragged into a tiny event. A more precise sentence may help. I had an embarrassing moment. Not, I am embarrassing. The grammar quietly changes the size of the wound. Imagine spilling red wine at a formal dinner. The stain spreads. Everyone sees it. Your first repair is not verbal, it is facial. For minor violations like this, Keltner and Buswell suggest embarrassment communicates appeasement before deliberate explanation has time to form. Before you say sorry, your body may already be saying, I did not mean to impose. I understand the inconvenience. Please keep me inside the circle. This is why the review links embarrassment to reconciliation and social harmony, especially after breaches that are noticeable but not catastrophic. Catastrophic matters. Embarrassment cannot substitute for accountability. A blush does not repair betrayal, cruelty, or harm that requires real change. The 2025 review distinguishes self-conscious emotions by their appraisals and action tendencies, which help separate small social awkwardness from moral responsibility. Guilt often pushes toward action. Apologize. Replace the glass. Fix the mistake. Embarrassment often handles the first second, when everyone is still deciding what happened. When you witness someone else's embarrassment, consider accepting the repair instead of enlarging the scene. A kind nod can do more than a joke. You can say, "No worries, we've all done that." Then move on. The moving on is often the generous part. Teasing can be affectionate, but timing matters. Too soon, and it traps the person inside the mistake they are trying to exit. The Plosa One authors caution that blushing can be unpleasant and socially painful, even when it sometimes carries a softening interpersonal function. Pause. That is the humility of this research. The same blush can protect connection and hurt the person wearing it. The 2025 Systematic Review argues self-conscious emotions remain difficult to map because they sit between individual experience and social meaning. That in-between quality may be exactly why embarrassment feels so intense. It is your nervous system noticing that belonging is negotiated moment by moment. Keltner and Buswell's account frames embarrassment as pro-social, not because it is pleasant, but because it can reduce conflict after small breaches. Pro-social does not mean dignified. It may look like mumbling, red cheeks, and a smile that arrives wearing the wrong shoes. So after your next awkward slip, consider asking one useful question: what needs repairing here? The moment, the relationship, or just my story about myself? If it is the moment, name it lightly. If it is the relationship, apologize clearly. If it is only the self-story, let the blush pass. Softly. There is something tender about a body that apologizes before language catches up. It suggests we are built not only to fail socially, but to return. The next time heat rises in your face, it may still feel like a private disaster, but perhaps it is also a small public offering. Not proof that you are broken, a sign that you noticed the social world noticing you, and that some part of you wanted to come back.